what happened map 1. Forget about this.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind, the rest are going to avoid it. You actually hear the shots get rung in, I'm assuming, from mid-map. Red Reserve should be able to get this bomb down. The question is, how do they approach watching the flank, watching mid? Because right now, Wuskins, he's at least caught out the information. I'm assuming he was there in time. And this looks like Reciprocity. They might be going 4 through mid. See how they make it happen.
Bold strategy. We'll see if it works out. Wuskin down low, teammate above. You have Dens coming in from the original spawn, and now all of a sudden, has Wuskin found his opening? Well, 2 challenge mats goes down. Is there going to be a trade? Yes, there will. Wuskin with 2. 3 versus 2 now in favor of Red Reserve. Scraps is able to find the nade. More kills through. It leaves Tommy 1 versus 2. 15 seconds and a dream. He finds 0, but surely Scraps, he's not going to be foolish enough to challenge and fall. Another round for Red Reserve.
And I think Tommy ended up being that problem that round. You saw there was 4 trying to go through mid. Tommy eventually leaves, but what Reciprocity is concerned about is they don't want to all dive in one place and then just have that one random player for Red Reserve come in and flank them.
Yep.
That kills your round. But the trade-off for watching that to make sure your round doesn't die is, well, you're just fighting essentially a 4v5 because Red Reserve stacked up. So nice bounce back round for Red Reserve to get, and we'll see if Reciprocity alters their defensive strat to, well, not give the bomb up completely.
2 rounds in, attack winning on both those rounds. Now Reciprocity, can they keep that up as they head into their second attacking round, round number 3 here of the Search and Destroy. It was a very, very aggressive A hit in round 1 this time, though. Switching things up, there they will find the Welshman rated. As he plays for information, shots go down. Wisely, backs away.
And you see they've actually played it fairly well. This time, Zero was more worried about the players coming mid instead of B, so now he switches up where he snipes from. And, well, they get the clearance to the site. That doesn't mean you get there for free. Shawnee, though, is able to pick up Joe on the flank, so we do have a 4v4. Bance gets traded out, 3v3. Bomb is down. Plenty of time, though. Shawnee, though, is able to pick up 2. Red Reserve trying to fly back in. And, well, the man has a sniper of a pistol, but it takes a little bit to reload, and Dens gets him down with the free kill, and that is another offensive round win.
And that was a good initial pick from Zero, and you think if that flank had better timing, all of a sudden Reciprocity just pinched in towards the site, nowhere they could go, but important gunfights won by Reciprocity, allows them just to escape. They don't have to worry too much about their own flank, and, well, they have the advantage 2-1.
And it really does seem like every single round Reciprocity is prepared. They're thinking ahead. Yes. They have a nice game plan. They made 2 very nice offensive rounds in a row where they're playing off what they expect Zero to do, successful with it. You're playing against Joe. You watch the flank. Like, there's some simple things that need to be taken care of, and Reciprocity so far so good. And now Wuskins trying to stop them from getting this bomb down for free at B. The peek comes in. Red Reserve know they have to be a little bit careful at the site now.
Curious to see if maybe they try and bait out a rotation. You see Red playing very, very slow. 3 players stacked over towards B. You know the sniper's conceded positioning. But bomb wraps out, and that's because Zero on the other side, number 7, trying to make a play over towards you. Bomb wraps now completely towards the A site, and it's just a waiting game. Will Tommy be able to come up clutch here for Reciprocity?
And this is huge as well. He's got Dens watching over him, so he's going to have the information. They are not going to expect him to be here. But actually, Joe apparently knows more than we do, makes the right read.
That's a great read.
And what I thought was a good play from Reciprocity just gets shut down instantly. Bomb goes down. And this is looking good for an offensive round. They're trying to make the slide back in. 1 kill gets traded out. Wuskins looking for the pick. He's going to find it. Now all of a sudden, bomb site control might be on you. Joe, though, is able to find 2. Now Dens is flying through. Has Zed to work with. And they got plenty of time to make something happen.
2v2. Zero. Noses the play to the right-hand side. You still have Scraps. Sniper rifle is going to spot Dens on bomb. Peekaboo. He falls. Zed is behind the bomb, but not defusing just yet. 17 seconds. That has to go quickly. Finds 1-0 there for the trade. And that round is all completely possible because of the phenomenal read Joe gets on Tommy, lying behind the bomb. That is a round which will never show up on a scoreboard in terms of his personal statistics. But without that one opening entry, there's no way they win that round.
And I think it's Heretics that does something similar. Instead of leaving a guy on bomb, they leave him off to the side. I've yet to see it work, but I do like the idea. But
good idea on paper.
Again, you're exactly right. Tommy never showed himself, has Dens watching over, but it's still not an easy gunfight to win. And I think Joe wasn't even weak coming in. So Dens, I'm assuming, is shooting at a different player because 4 peak at the same time. And either way, all is said and done, we have had 4 rounds, 4 offensive wins.
Yes, we have. Will the trend continue now in round 5? As you can see, Bomb once again making his way to be rated. Will be there. First Blood gets away with his life. That's huge. Trades not coming through, and now the Red Reserve presence that came through mid-map over towards the B site forces Reciprocity back into their spawn. They, of course, do still have Tommy alive, ready and waiting. He's made sure no one from Red Reserve has pushed through the A site, but now the problem Reciprocity are going to have is this rotation play is very easy to read.
Yeah, good luck dealing with the ICRs. Bans can do the exact same thing. Pre-fire peak, he has plenty of ammo. He can heal all he wants, and how to even break through. You're going to have to use nades, concussions, but you have so many players. Just pre-aiming to go for the double slide and able to pick up one, and now they're through. Rated over top, going for the kill on Bomb. He does just so, finds the second as well. Vance gets the next, and Rated has had himself one hell of a round from start to finish. And that's the first defensive win.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got to give credit to Rated, not just for that two-piece at the end, but he gets first blood, dealing with 3 players by himself. Eventually, he had a little bit of help from mid, but it's like the meta strategy of all the different players on the map. If you're over by B, by yourself on defense, how do you watch it before where he goes for shoulder peeks with the Maddox to play for information, but you see so many offensive round wins. You have to do something different. You can't just let him plant the bomb for free, so he plays a little bit more aggressive, and he makes the right play, gets the kill, gets out with his life, and his teammate eventually was there to help him with the pressure. So shout out to Rated for that round. Red Reserve up 3-2.
And then to your point, the first defensive round winners, it looks like Denz is taking a bit of an unorthodox angle at defending the A site. And, well, your feet are showing there, bud. That's the easiest first blood Bance is probably ever going to get in his professional Call of Duty career. Joe with a second. The bomb site wide open. Red Reserve looking to give themselves a 2-round cushion. 0 top window. He finds Tommy. Reciprocity falling apart here in game 2.
Anyone that's played COD, you've seen that like character model
It's
do that
so
before,
annoying.
where you lay down like against the wall, and it only happens some. Like I don't know specifically what causes it, but if you're the player that's doing it, you hate it. If you're the player that sees some feet poking out, you're like, hey, gotta watch that back. You gotta honestly, if this is a strategy you gotta use. You got to go into a private match. You got to talk to your teammates. You got to wiggle around in that exact spot and figure out exactly where you need to be. Because if not, you will die.
I feel like Bance couldn't believe his luck. He looked over towards the site and he went, wait a minute. Was that feet? Oh, no, it is feet. Oh, well, guys, I got first blood. Site's open.
And by the way, that was the spot that Heretics used. And again, I still haven't seen it work. Yeah, I think over 4 from what I've seen, but keep trying. Eventually,
right?
It works in GBs.
It's bound to work at least once, right? As Red Reserve, 2-round cushion, 4-2 the advantage. Important to note, Rated has Annihilator, 325 away from streaks. Once again, solo, actually no, has support here, I should say, as the stun comes out. He pulls out the Annihilator, and that's just bad timing. No trade. Tommy with a double. Good response from Reciprocity.
Now they should be able to get the bomb down. Scraps mid-map, gets taken down by his brother.
Oh, no, that would have been bad.
Brother actually slides right next to Joe, but actually is exactly when Joe jumped up. Wuskins gets the next one, and well, they're sitting pretty for this round.
Problem, Bance doesn't want a 5. Yes, you're feeding a little bit of specialist, but 250 away from streaks.
And here's the cost. Now you see Tommy's going to get his specialist. Shawnee's probably going to get his. Zed is even going to be even closer to it by the time 20 seconds go by. And Wuskins is getting close to his. And actually, Wuskins is going to get the kill, so you don't get the streaks. Everyone gets closer to their specialist. And that is obviously around Reciprocity needs.
Yes, definitely is. And, of course, the Annihilator pulled out as well from Rated at the very beginning to absolutely no effect. They shut down his streaks. So all things considered, a much-needed and very well-played round from Reciprocity.
And that was what Havoc on Hot Mic was talking about, how in this game, like, you need to be aggressive. If Reciprocity plays that any slower, they're going to get pieced left and right. They might get collateral if they stack up. So that stun came in. Tommy had to slide through, and that is as good as it possibly gets for Rec. Still, though, they are down by a round. But you got to imagine, a couple specialists in the back pocket.
I'm Rated actually blessed, still has the Annihilator, so it didn't take
which he just found out himself.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yay, I still have it. That could be game-changing here for Red Reserve. Zed wisely backs off, has an aid. Scraps is going to just fly straight at him. Zed now going to need a little bit of support. Is the support coming? Yes, it is. Number 2 on the minimap. It's Wuskin watching over Zed. Scraps scrambles away. Wuskin's invested in Annihilator. Bance will fall. Does that now in tune. Force out maybe more specialists from Red Reserve. Shawnee isolated and taken down, but Tommy's there with a Graph Slam as well. Doesn't even need to use it. Finds Bomb. Big round from Reciprocity, 3v3 though. As Scraps trades out, Den's a stun. Scraps isn't going to find more. Zero, he has a grab slam as well, but Joe finds one. Zed's going to be shot in the back. Now it's a 1v2. Advantage Red Reserve, but Tommy still with the grab slam. Spot Zero. He should be able to find one, but no, Zero secures the round. Invests the grab slam, leaves nothing to chance.
That's a wild round, Ben. That was a ton of stuff that happened. I think you saw the TAC 5 get popped. Obviously, Wuskins used his Annihilator. And yeah, you still have your gravity spike for Reciprocity, but that's a great situation they could have been in. It really seems like Tommy really likes to play solo and search. And obviously, it does have its benefits, but everything you do, there's a cost and a benefit.
Right.
And that round, it seemed like he was in you, picked up kills, had a gravity slam, and then he just left. And then eventually Zero comes through, starts shooting people in the back. So it's all about those timings. You got to get them right now. Reciprocity going to have to get 3 rounds in a row if they don't want to follow 2.
We obviously said the big thing for Red Reserve was how much have they improved their search and destroy. They've had leads in search in the past and let it slip. Can they close this one out, though, give themselves a 2-0 advantage while Crash used for Reciprocity. Grab Slam still available. There's a War Machine at play as well. It's going to be a couple of players that peek straight through. Grab Slam, double. Annihilator pop, though, by Rated. He finds one, but needs to be careful of the War Machine. Flank is out. Reach out comes through, and that's a team kill. But luckily, Rated will fall. 3 versus 2 now. Still advantage Reciprocity.
Zero's able to find one, make it a 2v2. I'm assuming that War Machine might be running out. Wuskins, though, was able to find the next. And, well, Zed, he's just preaiming for this gunfight. He's got the SOG. He's not going to lose it. So you burn a lot, but you get the round win, and you're happy with it. And for those of you who do not know at home, if you're using the Gravity Slam, if you just tap it, does it super fast. If you hold it, you go flying up, gives plenty of time to get killed. He's got 2 players in front of him. Tap it. Love tap, get the 2 kills. Tap you're done. So solid specialist use.
Yeah, really well played. Really well played. And the trades that followed as well, crucial for Reciprocity. But still, advantage Red Reserve. 5-4 up here in Game 2. We saw a lot of specialists invested in the last round. Den's close to Tempest on the flip side. Bance close. Scraps close to War Machine. So a 2-1 advantage in terms of if this does go to around 11, you would expect Red to have those 2 specialists.
Red Reserve, they got out very, very quickly for this rotation. Denz, of course, is going to be waiting for it. Knows Joe is nearby, and he's going to be playing shoulder. So they don't have a ton of information. You see players for Reciprocity still concerned about B. The Suns are coming in. They got to expect pressure, but as you would expect the pressure to be here, Red Reserve are immediately wrapping back to B.
That's a very fast rotation, Tommy. He's stayed here, lingered, just in case. And now he's going to spot it. Is he going to be able to scramble away with his life? Yes, he will. Rated, though, instantly drops on towards bomb. Zed's going to peek. They need to be careful because the collapse is coming through here in towards the site. War Machine invested. Zed's one-shot. Scraps finds Tommy. Scraps finds Zed. Scraps looking for more. Play to his right, play to his left. The War Machine doesn't connect with much. Wuskin is able to find the pick onto his brother, as now Denz is forced to invest. Tempest is a 2v4, though. He needs it down. He needs it quickly because Shawnee's in a world of pain bottom middle. The reach out comes through. Now it's down to Denz. 1v4. Almost impossible with 28 seconds left. Rated peaks, and Red Reserve go 2-0 up.
Ben, they need to make the improvements in search and destroy, and they're 1-0 so far in the mode. And, of course, now we go to where they get more and more comfortable with the control. A hot start that Red Reserve needs to have, but they still got to finish.
Scraps said it himself in the interview. You've lost already, Wuskin. It's 3-0, and so far, so good. 2-0 up here in the series. We'll be back after this with Game 3, Control.
Call of Duty World League is presented by PlayStation 4, the official platform of the CWL. Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix-amp of the CWL.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day one of the 2019 Pro League. What a first game we have to kick things off. Red Reserve versus Reciprocity, a big European rivalry, which is a little bit deeper in terms of family as well. Scraps versus Wuskin for the very first time. Who will walk away with bragging rights? Well, so far it's advantage Scraps as Red Reserve sit 2-0 up here on the gaming main stage. Here's how the series is at hard point, not that close, 250 to 93. Scraps almost finds himself at 3 different sets of streaks. The search and destroy. We asked, has Red improved? The answer, yes, they have. 6-4. Red took frequency search. Now we head over to gridlock control, and we talked a little bit about stats, Chance, in terms of Red Reserve. Their control has been very, very good.
They were like average, like 4-3, and they go to the PLQ, 9-1. Only lost a single time. Their record was outstanding, and you might think PLQ like slightly worse competition because the Open events are playing the top teams, but they played the exact same competition. Red Reserve literally played the exact same teams, lost to the exact same teams, but their control, obviously they made improvements on, and Reciprocity, to their credit, we talked about, they got really creative with it, but creativity only gets you so far.
Yes, if you're not winning the maps, being creative doesn't really result in much, and I believe their control record stayed pretty much identical. I think it was 3-3 at Vegas. I think it was 3-3 at the PLQ. So no real big signs of improvement there. But we do know, to your point, they have some unique opening breakoffs. They have some unique kind of like back pocket strats, if you will. But my fear is, with how this series is going so far, momentum definitely seems to be falling way away from Reciprocity. And coming in, it's worth mentioning, a lot of people favored Reciprocity in this series.
And it makes sense. I mean, if you're a seed, and they have the higher seed for a reason, but at the same time, we talked about it before, the competition Reciprocity had to play against not really is quality. Like the division that they had, there was only 2 teams that made it out. No one else did, and they, granted, had some decent wins, but they lost to FC. That was Team Divine's only win. So Reciprocity at times has just faltered. Red Reserve story has been, if they're playing a Pro League team, so far they've lost unless that Pro League team is European.
Yeah, that's the other side, right? Red Reserve, they just don't lose to European teams. It's what players keep saying, and well, we'll keep saying it until the European team finally beats them, rated with a double overextension towards the B zone. And already we saw the initial push from Reciprocity. They wanted to go showers. They now find themselves 6 lives down. A massive advantage for Red early on here.
And I gotta say, Rated has had a pretty good series. Obviously, Scrap steals the limelight from that game, number 1. But even just as a leader in the plays that he has made, I thought right now, Reciprocity, they're trying to storm in. You look at the kill feed, it's nothing but Red on that left side. 23-14 life advantage. Ben, I don't think Red Reserve has slowed down a single bit.
No, they haven't. And Joe, when we say likes a good flank, well, a bare minimum here, if you're Red, just trade out your lives. You have an 8 life advantage. Bans finds himself now behind enemy line. A bit about players maybe going for a bit of a split push, and that's what may actually end up happening here, is Red can't get themselves too split. Denz is pushed all the way through mid-map. He's now flanking the Red Reserve spawn. With 39 seconds left. 2 ticks now, I believe, fully into B. Only get the 3rd. Zed also close to streaks. 400 points all he needs. Nope, not gonna get him.
Another player falls. Now you got Tommy by himself. Can't even get to the point. And all of a sudden, that 9 life deficit got chopped down to 5. It's 30 seconds left. You don't have any points. And, well, there's no more respawns for this team. It is going to be next to impossible to get the win, but we'll see if they can pull out some magic. It is going to be Scraps by himself, but by himself he was able to pick up 1, which stops everybody. Zero's coming on the flank, players falling left and right. Wuskins is going to die as well, and that is a huge round for Red Reserve.
And it's really important to note how much pressure Red Reserve applied onto Reciprocity's spawn. How many times you see Joe hit the flank, Bans hit the flank, Scraps hit the flank. Every single one of them hitting the flank, putting the pressure on Reciprocity. So they're always coming off spawn saying, all right, we have to push down street. But then you have to be so worried about anyone pushing straight through mid-street trying to get behind you.
I mean, as soon as like Scraps throws that cluster nade at the end, that is essentially one guy stopping the entire team from moving anywhere, and it'd just be chaos. But obviously, it was from the opening break. The Red Reserve just bowled him over, and well, Gridlock, I don't know what the exact stats are. JP, if you can let me know, that'd be great. But more offensive-sided than some of the other control maps are going to be. So for Red Reserve to get that defensive round win,
it's big.
In a dominating fashion as well, that is pretty big.
And they also deny streaks from Zed, as now it's Reciprocity's turn. A team kill does come through, but you can see the instant pressure over towards B. Important to note, in Red's first defensive round, they sent 2 players to defend B. Reciprocity only sent 1. Can Red, though, try and get some extra time into the B zone? It doesn't look like it with 1.5 ticks. It's going to be contested. Reciprocity doing a great job now of just trading out their lives effectively. Zed just... Like, he just did the hokey pokey right there, find himself a double.
The foot race, though, no one for Reciprocity. They put all the pressure into retaking B, so they do not get back to A in time. So now it's full control for Red Reserve, who, granted, massively down on lives, but you win offense by getting the points, not necessarily by the kills. And, well, they're nearly 2 ticks in. All of the kills are going their way. Zed, frankly, just doesn't have ammo or health. Den's actually team kills. Now, all of a sudden, you're even on lives. A is gone, and that is the importance of wrapping back. As soon as there's 2 players for Red Reserve in B, you got to send at least 1 guy for Rec to rotate.
And this is important as well, because normally after Showers is capped up, you get a little worried that maybe they haven't trapped, right? They haven't trapped inside where the A zone used to be. Bance doesn't have to worry about that, and Bance close to some streaks as well. We'll try on that. Currently on a 3 streak, 275 away because he got so many capture points. He's going to have to get out of the A side. Now just 175, tagged in from behind. Oh, and unfortunately found himself stuck between 2 Reciprocity players as the life lead, 19-19. Scraps with a friendly love tap there to twin brother Wuskin. Will only be able to find a couple of extra seconds invested in towards the zone as it stands currently contested.
Reciprocity doing a pretty nice job to kind of stave them off. They take down Rated off the card. Now they have complete control, but of course, we know all the pressure is going to come into B, and Reciprocity actually, they're sending 4 players to go watch the flank, which makes sense because there is pressure coming in, and they left Wuskins on the top side of the map, but Wuskins got to deal with 2 while his teammates deal with everybody else. But for the bright side for them, the team at the bottom hide for Reciprocity do their job. Wuskin falls, but now you wrap back. Still, though, 1 tick on board, and Red Reserve still has plenty of time to work with.
I'd love to see Wuskins find 1 kill in that situation, but it doesn't matter. Tommy is there with the rest of Reciprocity. He finds himself now 275 away from streaks of his own. Reciprocity with a 4 life advantage as well. You get streaks. Admittedly, they don't have a massive impact on Gridlock. Better to have raining explosives from the sky than not.
And I like this call as well. Scraps picked up a kill mid-map, but instead of pushing for that pressure, he immediately wrapped back to help his teammate, where they should have the man advantage. They're trying to deal with the flank as well, so they're watching it, and all the kills going back and forth. No one, though, for Red Reserve is able to get inside. 0 does get taken down, and now it is finally set up for Reciprocity to get that defensive round win. Obviously, they had a fantastic start. That turned into a much more interesting play, but an 8v3, there's almost nothing you can do.
We've seen it happen before. Will we see it happen again? The scary thing about that B zone is if all of a sudden 3 players jump in it, it starts to cap very quickly.
And that's why it's so tough, though. Reciprocity can play so spread, so what Red Reserve has to do is just play for individual kills, but you're still going to be doing it from the man disadvantage as players fall left and right. Scraps can't get that one, so I think in that situation, specifically a 3v8, it is just... the amount of mistakes Reciprocity would have to make, it would be unreal. So, talked about, hey, maybe it's offensive kind of sided. Nope, 2 defensive round wins.
Red, of course, take the first round. Instant response from Reciprocity. Keep things close here on Gridlock control. Rounds 1-1. And in terms of streaks, no one has any just yet. We've seen a couple of players get close. Bance at one point was close. Scraps, of course, was close. Tommy as well from Reciprocity. Now, really, the key is race the specialists. That's going to be the key.
And I would have to imagine with each round win that it's going to be nearly the same across the board. You got Tac 5 on one side, Gravity Slam on the other. They're all getting close if they don't have it already. Now you see the opening break coming in B for the pressure. Tommy uses the Gravity Slam to get said pressure. And if you get B early on, that's huge.
And that keeps the streak alive. As I say that, Rated finds the pick. So no streaks earned there for Tommy, but already a tick into B for Reciprocity.
You can see, though, 0 on the flank. They're going to be concerned about it. Players are looking for him, and he doesn't even make noise, so he's going for a wrap. By the way, in the hill, Joe's trying to stave off some of the pressure. 2 ticks have come through, but him and Rated inside the hill. It's going to be Rated by himself. He gets dropped. Reciprocity should be good to potentially get this final ticket. Shawnee by himself, I think you might just have to chalk it up. And Wuskins, by the way, trying to spawn kill.
Yeah, that's the problem. Wuskins pushed all the way through showers here. He's on the other side of the map, and Red, they're not going to be able to defensively get set up into showers because of just how much of a nuisance he's going to be. B does finally get capped. 2 minutes 15. This is the play Wuskin needs to make. There's the first. Can he find the second? No, so close. Zero there, though, to trade that out. And now all of a sudden, there is pressure in the zone coming in from Reciprocity. A 4-life lead as well. Zero does what he can. Grab slam available to use, should he choose to. As he goes for a quick jiggle peek. What's he going to spot? Is he going to go for it? No, he's not. 2 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills for Reciprocity. And this round should be done.
And again, you got to give credit to Wuskins going for the spawn kills. It means his team wins the foot race inside of A. We've seen it once. You get complete control A over here. It's so difficult to break on through. You still have players with some specialists. Might be able to do some damage. They are going to contest, but they're just an inch away. Zed on the front line gets dropped. Tommy's picking up kills. Zero. He's got to contest. He has the grab spike, but to even try to burn it to make the hero play because they are just so close to dropping him. Joe, able to pick up 2 scraps is here. They might be able to do this. Contest comes in just enough time. They hold on, but Ben still 13 lives to 7 for Rec. But they still have that grab slam.
And now you can consider maybe using it, right? It was a millimeter. That was all Reciprocity needed. Red Reserve, hold on. Oh, there is that kill lead getting out of control as Wuskin just found a miraculous double kill. Pressure back on towards the zone. Zed with a double of his own. Round is done and dusted. 3 lives left for Red, 2 lives left for Red. 10 for Reciprocity. A almost capped. Should be good. There's the final 2 kills. Reciprocity with the advantage 2-1.
And just to highlight it once again, Wuskins had an opportunity to hop on A while his teammates were at B and go for that split push where Reciprocity is like, do we go for B? Do we go for A? What do we do? But if he plays on the point solo, they know he's there. Yep. They're eventually just going to come kill him because he's by himself. He goes for the spawn kills, which means as soon as his teammates do manage to get that B point, he slows down Reciprocity just enough by an extra 5-10 steps so his team can get control of the hill first.
Got the first couple of kills, and then when the rotation finally came through, he was able to find 1 more out of a 3-man push. Red did obviously love to win this round without having to invest too many specialists, but there comes a point where you simply just have to use them to win the round. As Bance will fall, Annihilator was popped and missed all of that chaos as Tommy makes almost an identical play to what we saw, I believe it was Rated do in round number 1, and more importantly, Wuskin now has some streaks of his own. That's full streaks. Can he find 1 more with the Annihilator? Not gonna happen. And it would be, of course, his twin brother that shuts him down.
And again, we just kept talking about it. Red Reserve 9-1 in the PLQ in control. Now Reciprocity, though, they have this game in their hands. You're fully streaked out. You have a very small but noticeable life advantage. And they're going to call in the lightning strike over towards A, I assume. But Red Reserve is like, hey, we're inside showers.
And it's the same thing we talked about, right? If you're going to improve one game mode and you're going to focus so heavily on it, most of the time, more often than not, one game mode does get a little bit affected by it. And it could well be this control. We'll wait and see, of course. Too early to tell. Just the first series we've seen Red Reserve play. Things for sure, the S&D definitely improved. As the life count, 20-17. Advantage Reciprocity. Tommy forced to just back away. He is being hunted down, though. Of course, we already had our minute extension. So just the B zone is up. Kills still being traded.
And live. They're actually going to... But Rated says, hey, you can know where I am. I had the Annihilator. And he does just that, annihilates it. The stun eventually, though, does take him down. So you're getting streaks used all over the place. Reciprocity trying to just push through the backside. And now Red Reserve, they're just all over the place. The map is split top and bottom.
Yeah, and it's important to note Bance did stay alive, which is the really important play here for Red Reserve because it's forcing Reciprocity to respect him. Tommy shuts him down, though. Also with a very important win. Means our life count 13-11 still. Advantage Reciprocity now 11-10. Just 1 kill is all that's in it with 60 seconds of gameplay. Scraps in support of his teammate. Has to stay alive. You cannot just give away your life in this situation.
Once again, Reciprocity, 4 people are just stacking the bottom side of the map. So Wuskins is by himself, and he does fall. So now Reciprocity has to make the adjustment to potentially worry about the pressure coming in the top, but Wuskins does spawn in, and again, they're doing the same thing. They're leaving him by himself, and so far, so good. It's working out, letting the ICR lock it down, but now Zero's right next to him. He has that grab slam, takes him down. That clears out the point, and he stays alive.
That's huge.
8 lives to 5.
That's huge. Can he find one more? Zero doing it himself. That's a triple to open things up. 2 caps now into B, 275 points, but now the fight comes through. Zero, what? Dancing and darting around the hill, still alive, whilst getting more points. 2 more players challenge. Zero with streaks now as well. Finally, he gets cut down. It's a 3 versus 1, though. The kill comes through. Red Reserve take it to around 5, but that man right there making the play for Red Reserve.
And that is just nutty. That is the potential problem with stacking so much pressure on the bottom side of the map. Wuskin's by himself, which is great because you're an ICR, you can hold him down. But one of the best things about holding the push from that side is if you have the Hellstorm, well, they're outside, you call it in. But now he's coming off respawn. All the players are inside. So now that turns into a round. Wuskin gets fully streaked out. Lightning Strike gets nobody, you lose the point anyway. Hellstorm gets nobody, you lose the point and the round anyway. Now, granted, he has a spree left, but now Zero bounce back has some of his own, and Red Reserve, man, 9-1. They don't want to let that go.
And don't forget Scraps as well, close to streaks.
Oh, boy.
150 away, and that gunfight in that could be the deciding factor. Scraps does find Tommy. Zero will fall. That was over towards Showers. The presence is very strong there from Reciprocity. But Scraps is so worried. 50 away from streaks, does not want to give this up. He recognizes how important this could be. Tommy knows he's there, and they know he's close to streaks. Crash is now invested as well, trying to secure these streaks as quickly as possible, as Vance isn't done over towards Showers. He was able to find 1, but the life count, 27-26, in favor here of Reciprocity, and, well, Red Reserve, they concede the A point. 2 minutes 14 is a hell of a lot of time.
Plenty of time, and we have seen this situation many times, so it is not over for either team. Zero's going to call in the Lightning Strike, and you see 2 players right now mid-map. You expect at least 1 to fall. Zed does get dropped. Tommy's able to find cover. So that's a Lightning Strike gone. Only 1 kill. You have the information. Rated dealing with 2 players at the very bottom side of the map, and he's got a little bit of help from his teammates. For Reciprocity right now, they're just working on the surge.
And Scraps has to be just so careful he doesn't get baited into a gunfight. Is it going to be his brother, Wuskin? He eventually finds, and Wuskin goes for the challenge. 50 points, all Scraps needs as he repositions once again. Zed goes for the challenge, Lightning Strike earned. Now, what extra utility can you get? A Sniper's Nest could do some damage here as Reciprocity trying to work on the flank. There's still 2 players there. Scraps has seen him. Now does he invest the Lightning Strike? He does. Calls it straight in as Shawnee and Wuskin both find pick. The War Machine comes out to play as well. Scraps with 2, rated with 1. Now the War Machine can just let loose. Will he find 1 more pick? Yes, he will. Drone Squad, 5 points all he needs for the Sniper's Nest as Scraps almost deja vu from game 1 where he takes over, doing it again here in game 3.
Yeah, if he gets this Sniper's Nest, you got to imagine there's over 110 left on the clock. And the spot he has is great for information. The Drone Squad might be able to pick him up some kills. His teammates just need to protect him. And, well, might be able to help with that. He does get taken down. Pressure all going to have to come in from the bottom side. But, again, you have to get past the players Red Reserve just to get to Scraps and the Drone Squad. This is a tough spot right now for Reciprocity.
Should be almost impossible. Scraps still watching the front. Nade thrown out. Spots Dems to the right-hand side. Zed was able to get a double, though. So the life advantage is in favor of Reciprocity as Scraps gets shot in the back. A team kill comes through as well. But there's the Sniper's Nest. Joe, the saving grace there for Scraps. As Tommy trying to put pressure inside the zone. He has Scraps on as well. He's going to fly out, invest it, finds 1. He gets traded out. There is a tick and a little bit, some change invested in towards B. The stun comes out. Sniper's Nest called in, of course, but Reciprocity down, but by no means out.
Red Reserve, they just got to stall. They got to let that machine do its work, and Rated is contesting inside the hill, and he just needs to stay alive. Wuskins can't challenge, but this is it. This is the push right now. They're going to have the Annihilator to make it happen. Surging forward. Rated gets dropped. Wuskins able to find 2. Now you can't peek him, but the 3rd tick's almost coming in. 5 lives, but they got the Annihilator. Able to get another 5v5 halfway there. Misses the shot.
1 shot left.
To play.
1 shot left. Misses and falls as well. 5v4 advantage Red Reserve. Scraps with a double, Rated with 1. 4 versus 2. Zone still contested. The pinch comes through from Joe. Zed will fall. Zero trades it out. And Red Reserve making a statement in their first game of the Pro League. A swift 3-0 victory.
Ben, I have now learned what the phrase "they bottle it" means. Scraps was correct. They bottled it, and Scraps called it. They get the 3-0 in a dominating fashion for map 1, and it got tougher and tougher as the series went on, but Red Reserve held strong, and Scraps, now he has bragging rights for a couple more weeks.
You saw it. You saw that cheeky little smile on his face as he gave Wuskin a fist bump. And for Wuskin, of course, he's going to have to deal with, I imagine, for quite some time, until at least next time we see them play against each other. Bragging rights has been earned by Scraps, but obviously when we came into this series, we talked a little bit about Red Reserve. Their need for improvement was heavily in Search and Destroy. We knew they'd improved in Hardpoint, and we knew they were very, very good at Control and had improved in that as well. Are you liking what you're seeing? Because coming in, I think they're one of the lower seeds of this division, and, well, maybe performances like that could make this division a little bit more interesting.
I like what I see because of the plays that they were making. Because they were making good adjustments, like rated on defense, over on frequency, search and destroy, making the adjustments to be a little bit more aggressive, and things like that paying out. They handled situations control at the very end. They dealt with the Lightning Strike, dealt with the Hellstorm, dealt with the Annihilator at the end. So they came up with the big plays, and that's what you appreciate. You talk about big plays. Zero had a couple as well.
Yes, he most definitely did. Here's the Scuff Gaming play of the game. It was Zero on the flank, and obviously Wuskin falls early. And in terms of just the sheer amount of big plays he was able to make, the trades, if nothing else, the right time, right place sort of situation, but this was the one which really stands out. Grav Slam available to use, flies straight through, somehow stays alive, has enough time to heal, teammate flies out the hill, he trades that out, then somehow finds another 3 whilst doing that, now close to streak progression as well. Zero took over in that round of Control.
And again, that Gravity Slam was extra important just because he takes down Wuskins, who had the streaks, which buys your team just enough time to get into the hill early. Then when they call the streaks in, everybody's inside. You get the clearance over to 18, you can hang out in Sushi, you're going to be good to go, and he gets streaks on top of that. So that's what I like to see from Red Reserve. Dealt an incredibly difficult hand, and then they hold strong. Map 1, they were dealt a very easy hand, and they ran the team over, and Scraps goes on a 15 spree, whatever it was. So great stuff from them from top to bottom.
Oh, you saw Scraps' reaction there. Giant smile on his face, and rightfully so. Red Reserve, the 3-0 victory over Rest Plus. We can send it now to Jess with our PlayStation Instant Reaction.
Thanks, Ben. How does it feel differently to take a victory over your twin brother versus just any other team?
Well, I said coming into this, I'd rather finish 1-21 in the league than lose to him, so it means a lot beating him, and I didn't want to lose.
So we were chatting just before the interview. What exactly were you expecting? I know there was a ton of trash talk. You were very confident going into this, but were you expecting a 3-0?
Obviously not, no, because even if they were horrible at the game, it was still, these sort of games go down to the wire and anybody can win because of what's on the line, and I didn't think it would be a 3-0, but here we are. I pulled my cigar out first map, and I lit it, and then I started taking the mick out of him. It was easy.
Well, we did hear what you guys had to say to each other before the match. Now that you've come out on top, do you have any words for Wuskin?
He was never going to beat me. Even if I had a blindfold on, one arm, one leg, we're going to lose that. He's horrible.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you
Welcome back to day one of the Pro League, where we just saw Red Reserve 3-0 Reciprocity. And if the rest of the day keeps going as quickly as that did, we're going to be out of here sooner rather than later. Your analyst desk is back. I'm your host, Katie Bedford, with Nameless, Pac-Man, and Study. Pac, was that what you were expecting?
No, not at all. If you had asked me before the match, I would have thought that Reciprocity was going to take that. But Scraps came out and had just one hell of a series. Came out so hot in that game one, set the tone. Red looked like they were back, man. They looked like they came to play.
Scraps just looked like the big brother in that whole series right there. I don't know what Muskins when he was 5-15 first map, I'm pretty sure, and Scraps was like 23-7, something like that. He just single-handedly took over that first map and just rolled throughout the series. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was, but
you think Muskin got a little nervous, maybe?
I guess Scraps had to be born 10 seconds before him because he has to be the bigger brother. There's no way you ever beat your bigger brother. It's just not what it's supposed to look like.
Well, and if the trash talk was anything to go by, Nameless, clearly Scraps was ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Scraps definitely backed up everything he said in that pre-match interview. In this game, he's just going off, picking up streaks, calling them all in, picking up that drone squad. And, I mean, I think the big thing was the supporting cast as well. Everybody on Red Reserve really stepped up to the plate. They all played amazing in this series. This is one of those 3-0s where they just looked dominant, right? Like one team clearly was more prepared, was more on point. Red Reserve, even in the search and destroying the control, like the control got a little bit close, but you know, for the most part, you expected them to take it home. And with a 3-0 win over a team like Reciprocity, like I think you could say Red is looking like they're back.
What's scary about that was I don't even think that Reciprocity was like not rotating or anything. I think they were. They were just getting gunned. They were just getting gunned. I mean, you saw on that the artillery hill or missile hill, excuse me, what the pros call it. They tried to break in there, and they were just giving them those jiggle peeks, and they couldn't get in at all. They were just on each side. They had them completely pinned down. They picked up like 60 points. Usually won't see that too often, especially versus teams that you expect to be kind of, you know, similarly skilled, and Red Reserve just looked amazing throughout.
Well, and Red Pack, you know, did have some issues at the Pro League qualifiers, so this certainly obviously is the best case scenario for them to start out the Pro League, but certainly seems like an improvement.
I mean, they pride themselves on beating the other European teams, and like they just think they have just the best European talent, and they don't see themselves losing to them. They just come out and prove it time and time again.
This is such a big player right here.
This is at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Weston just needed to get that maybe one more. Honestly, the cool thing about Control is how it snowballs to me. Yeah. Control snowballs so crazy out of control. Reciprocity is like probably one kill on the flank away from winning. It was that huge play that we saw at a 0. Really what we saw was Zed flanked around the middle of the map and it didn't finish off the kill. Ended up getting killed. Reciprocity was holding and waiting for him to make a play. He didn't make the play. That led to Scraps getting streaks.
Yeah, you can secure the game with that kill right there. Like that's the big plays that you need to make sure you close out, and one play can ultimately cost you the game, and you lose control 3-2. But I mean, even if they were to lose that, the way that first map looked, I would expect Red to win that hard point anyways.
Now coming up, of course, our last match of the day of the two, Optic Gaming and Midnight. Everyone's been really excited for this. And Study, what are you thinking?
Well, to me, you lost the best player in the game, which is Dashy. Unfortunately, he's not here, but you still got a team full of absolute juggernauts. So I'm expecting him to come in here and handle business. With Zuma, I don't know, it's probably going to be a couple role switches. You know, he was a SOG running, I'm pretty sure. Seth's running Crash. I don't know how the specialist is going to look between them, but I feel like they're still going to be able to pull us out pretty
We can assume that, like, Krim used to run the Annihilator, so he'll probably take that. That was Dashy's role, so we'll probably give him the Annihilator, and then that'll leave Zuma with Tempest or Vision, depending on whatever they decide, whatever team worked up in the back for them.
After talking to them, I'm not sure if they're going to run with it, but what they were thinking about was having Zuma use Maddox just so they don't change anything around with their roles. Have him just kind of fill in that spot, get kills. It's big shoes to fill, but it's one of the easier roles to kind of pick up and start to play with. And you got all-stars around you. You just really got to rise to the occasion and do your job. You got Crimsix telling you when to use your Vision Pulse if he decides to run that one. It shouldn't be too hard to fit right into a system of players like that, and I think he'll be just fine.
But how in a situation like that, when you're Zuma coming in, you were a sub, you didn't necessarily expect that you were going to play right away, but the synergy with that team, obviously he's played against them many times, but how difficult is that?
You're playing with some of the best players in the game. You just show up, you play it like it's a 10 series. There's no pressure on the line. Like, obviously you want to win and prove that you should be in the league, but you got to go in there and just be like, hey, I'm their substitute. I'm going to listen to these guys. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get kills and try to make minimal mistakes. It shouldn't be hard for a player of Zuma stature. I think it'll be all right.
It's also Zuma, man.
It's
a stallion.
Yeah.
Like, right? Since when is adding Zuma to your team a bad thing? Like, I understand they lost their MVP. Dashy's incredible.
They're overlord.
Yeah, they're overlord. But, like, to pick up Zuma, like, come on, man. He's going to figure it out. He'll run a Maddox probably, and he'll be there. It's his time to shine, right?
Well, I want to know, Sonny, so Midnight so dominant in the Pro League qualifier, but going up against Optic, what do you think they need to do to get the edge?
This is one of the true tests for like a team like this, because you know you basically scrim against everybody, but playing in your actual match, especially against Optic Gaming, it's just like if you're your amateur player, you just gotta be like, all right, we all got to go in this, just give it 100% energy. You know, everyone's already putting us as the underdog. So basically, if we just play the way we want to play, and we should be able to handle business as well.
You know what's tough? If you're Midnight, it's like, okay, we went 6-0, right? There's still a lot of questions around us as a team, around us as players. We're going up against the best team in the game. You know, we can make a statement here, but they're using a substitute player. So it's like, if we win, you know, we just beat a team with a sub. If we lose, we just lost to a team with a sub. So you got to kind of really want to make a statement here, maybe get a 3-0, 3-1, like really show you came here to play. This is going to be a huge match for these guys and their ego going forward.
In fact, do you think there's anything they need to watch out for in terms of Optic, anything specific they need to be focusing on?
Oh, they need to make sure that Scump doesn't just go completely off. Scump, usually when Scump plays players that, well, they're no longer amateurs, they're pros, but that are from that tier players, he usually just goes off. Like, he does absurd things on the map. So they got to keep him at bay. I'm a little worried for Midnight now in the stock 1 meta. They were, like, Envoy was known for using a class that didn't even have quick draw on it. He was just running double stock, double stuns. And now
Jet Li
as well. So we're going to see how they transition towards this new stock 1 meta. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys play.
Well, we will certainly see, because that is coming up. But again, the very, very first day of Pro League has begun with Red Reserves 3-0 over Reciprocity. Scraps beating out his brother. But coming up next, we have Optic Gaming versus Midnight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's day one of the Pro League, and we are in for a hell of a lot of fun, Joe. Now, today, we only have 2 matches. This is our final match of the night, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got 4 matches a day, so a lot to come. But, Joe, I want to ask you, you heard them talk on the desk a little bit about Zuma coming in, and I felt like you disagree with some of the things they were saying.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be tough for Zuma. It's a brand-new system for the Optic guys. It's a brand-new player. I mean, Dashy is one of, if not the best player in the world right now. Zuma's going to be playing a Maddox. It's tough. There's pressure on him. The green wall's watching. You know, when you talk to some of the players, when you talk to Teep, they know that Dashy, how good he is, the impact that he can have on the map, it's going to be tough for him. And everything is just going to sort of switch around, right? And obviously, he's running a Maddox. All he has to do, right, if you're him, is just get those kills on the map.
Well, what about for Midnight, though? They talked a little about Midnight coming out of the Pro League qualifier here, but does it change your outlook on this series at all once you know they're playing with a sub on Optic side?
Does it change the outlook of the series?
Like, I guess, what are you thinking mentally, maybe, if you're Midnight? Does anything change when you think Zuma's on the other side, not Dashy?
I mean, I think they have the advantage right now. I mean, they're a full team. They just are 6-0.
Or better odds than they did, maybe.
Yeah, I think they have better odds. But, yeah, it's kind of like, I think Ant sort of said it. We beat him. Oh, we beat him with a sub. It sort of sucks for them, right? It's sort of lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it's
you lose. Well, you lost to Optic with a sub. They're better than you. But I think for Midnight right now, your confidence is at an all-time high. You went 6-0 with the Pro League qualifier. You beat some really good teams. And now is you're 0-0.
Well, maybe for people that didn't kind of watch them post-Pro League qualifier, do you get a chance to watch some of their scrims, see what they were bringing to the table?
Yeah, I mean, they were very competitive with a lot of different teams. They scrimmed Optic a good amount. I mean, they were competitive with them. They played them in the Pro Down. They got to the finals. I believe they had to have a sub, or, you know, they met up in the finals. Yeah, I know Optic ended up winning that. I don't think they dropped a map, but yeah, it's a lot different, right? And if you're Midnight, you know what you just did on LAN. You went 6-0. You went perfect. You beat the teams that, I mean, you heard, talking with Hot Mike, didn't expect it to be that easy, right? They didn't expect it to go 6-0.
But what a big chance this is for Midnight, right? You come in, yes, Optic has this sub, but now it's like there's an opening there. Maybe you weren't the favorites coming into this. Now there's an opening. Imagine against one of the toughest teams in your division. If you can come up and put a victory on the board in this kind of first segment of the Pro League, I feel you could not ask for a better beginning for Midnight.
Yeah, that's just it right now. I think there's sort of maybe a bit of a theory around Midnight, right, where they just had such a good start. They got into the Pro League, and maybe like their confidence is so high, they have a tough week 1 and things start to go down the drain a little bit. But if you come out hot, you come out 1 or 2-0, again, they just think they can beat anybody in the world.
Well, it's going to be exciting to see what they can do. Just a lot of kind of amateurs on the outside looking in, now professionals in the Pro League. And I said to Envoy on Hot Mic, like, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Own it. Come in and just show what you guys are capable of. I'm really excited to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, I am as well. I think Envoy and Jet Li were such a good SOG duo, and that the SOG duos have really been what stood out for successful teams.
Well, we've seen sort of this like stock one kind of meta. A lot of people kind of running that. Does that change anything for you? Maybe
yeah, I mean, these guys were sort of very good with their stuns, with their stock too. So, you know, that sort of switch up, maybe some eyes on Jet Li and on Envoy, how things switch around. On the other side, you have them going up against Scump and TJ. Right, and I think really what Pat said on the desk is, all right, Dashy's not here. Whose turn is it to take over? Because you know
someone's got to step up in a way, right? You don't expect Zuma to come in and drop 8,000 damage. 7,500, 8,000 damage.
He just needs to play well. He just needs to do his thing. You have guys like Krim and Karma who can make the right plays. They can make the correct decisions. You know, hey, tell you what to do. Guys like TJ and Scump, those entry guys, those have to be the two who are on point, can open things up for Zuma, can really just make things easy.
Well, hopefully we are in for one treat of a series. So it kicked off with a 3-0, but still a battle between the brothers to kind of kick things off. We have so many exciting matches over the course of Division A, which is just really stacked top to bottom. You look through it. No easy match for anybody. It's going to be thrilling stuff, and you know, this match will conclude our first night, but we are going to be having action till what, July, really, with the Pro League?
It's a long time, right? It's like a month on, month off sort of system. Where the month off, where we have an open event. You know, we had London that was just announced this morning. I can't wait to get back to the Copper Box Arena. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
Well, last time you were there, you won an event, right?
I held a trophy up. Yeah, it was a good event. Yeah, it was a great time. Had a lot of fun at G3. So now that we're going back there, a lot of fond memories. So I can't wait to be back in that arena. But again, when we were just talking about it, it was like a multi-game event. Now just COD. Like I really hope that place.
Yeah, I think it was like it's like a think there was the big screen in the middle. There were 4 different esport events going on, and we were kind of segmented off. But now just to fill it up, have some fun. We know how fun Birmingham was last year, how wild the fans were. Really excited to get to that. But before we get there, obviously we'll have Fort Worth and just a lot of Black Ops 4 action. Sorry for the brief delay. Might be a bit of a tech issue on stage as they're getting ready for this one to kick off. But I think all eyes are on that first day. You saw Zuma on the side of Optic, but right now you saw TJ. He's got to go big as well.
I mean, I think for Zuma, obviously, FaZe not making it to the Pro League. Some of that team, some of those pieces have already moved on, right? You have Priest on 100 Thieves, Crowder, now the coach of that team. Attached, maybe just waiting for that roster period, Celium as well. But this is an opportunity for Zuma, not the other guys, to just put on a show.
Well, we've talked about it from Optics
the type
POV.
of player that he is still.
We've talked about from Optics POV and like Midnight. We haven't really talked about from Zuma's POV. Yep. He's like knocked out. Well, what am I doing? Now suddenly it's like, okay, I'm playing on day 1 of the Pro League as a sub. It's
and I think what's
crazy.
interesting as well is, I mean, there were a lot of rumors last year coming into this year about Zuma being on Optic, right? Like, a lot of people thought it was going to be him. So now we'll get to see him for a week, you know, be on Optic. But again, for him, this is his stock, right? If he shows up and plays exceptionally well, come roster.
Do you think he's feeling a lot of pressure in this spot?
He shouldn't. I don't think he should at all. I just think he should focus on himself, right? Just continue to play well, or as well as he can. But he shouldn't feel pressure. It's a tough position to be into. Right, I mean, you get called yesterday, like, hey, man, we need you.
Yeah, and it'd be one thing. I guess I feel like if it's a 1-for-1 from a role position, then, like, you could sort of say, like, oh, my God, like, it was a downgrade. They lost, but it's so different. It's so different. Like, expectations have to be tapered a little bit when you're not having, like, a 1-for-1
Who knows what happens today if things don't go well for him. Maybe they come in, scrim early tomorrow with maybe Scump as Maddox, right? Or they just try to figure something out, try to get him as comfortable as possible.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Who will strike first? In the opening hardpoint, I believe we're jumping to Hacienda to kick things off. I saw on the Call of Duty subreddit, the competitive subreddit, they were kind of talking a little bit at the first hardpoint. I don't know if you saw that thread, but like I think somebody posted, like, how the hell do you do first hardpoint? Because it's not easy. I mean, you're basically kind of fighting for spawns, but it was just interesting reading through all the comments as everyone was trying to give advice to this guy, and basically what I was gathering from it's really tough to get time from that and also focus on holding spawns for a second.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You really got to control those top halls. There's Teep right now coming off the stage, just trying to get these guys fired up. And here's the thing for Optic Gaming. I think we focused a lot on their ability, their talent. But when you look at the series and you add a new player, where are things going to change? Hardpoint, okay, Hardpoint you should be all right? You should be able to compete in Hardpoint. The thing that gets scary, Search and Destroy and Control, right? Those are the two where you have so many ways. How do we retake the A site? How do we retake the B site? That's when that chemistry will just feel off. So if you're Midnight, and that's where they were so good, especially the Pro League qualifier, with Search and Destroy and Control, 2, 3, 5 for them, it's got to be the money.
At least here the good thing with Zuma and someone like Search, he's just going to kind of fly and try to have those. I mean, that's like what we saw from TJ last year. Like, you're going to have 2 guys that typically want to be your entry players, your first blood or you're finding a first blood, just early interactions. We'll see how they kind of mesh when we get into Search, but no, it's an interesting point of view. Just 2 and 3 might be really difficult.
Well, just think about the coordination it takes to retake a control site, right? It's just very tough, but we'll get there when we get there. Here we go. Into the first map, and well, already that kill feed, 5 dead for Optic Gaming.
And this is one way to get time in the first hard point. You kill the other entire team, and then you get a nice clean setup. But we'll see how long they're able to hold. But what a break there from Midnight as they are doing damage early. Now, Envoy trying to control through Rockside, as that'll be a key position when we think about rotating towards that second hard point. We've seen more teams start to kind of hold from the front.
Yeah, that's it. And, you see Brack just trying to control top halls. Midnight back into that game, and watching that mini-map, you can see number 2, that's Envoy just trying to control this side, make sure they have garage control. A couple of players do spawn out. He might get some bad timing or some good timing. We'll see how this works out as Zuma trying to move around. He does have the vision pulse. We talked about that, so it will be Crim on the Annihilator. And, well, Zuma going to be able to find one, checks his front, but his teammate is there trying to find a second. Nice kills by Zuma on rotation. There's just 1 player left. A great hold so far from us.
And something as simple as that, like a nice big play from Zuma early in a game, you feel like that's got to give him confidence and maybe the team a little bit of confidence early.
Yeah, you're right. Just don't overthink things. Just play your game, right? That's what I was saying. Just get your kills. As long as you aren't struggling statistically, they're going to compete, especially in hardpoint.
Well, despite the fact that Midnight strike first and get such a great amount of opening time, it's Optic Gaming that not only retain really the latter half of that first hard point, but they have early control here inside a garage. Scump and Krim combining to pick up 2. Is now they'll lock it down, and Midnight's going to be forced to rotate early. So what looked really good for Midnight, at least in the opening 20-30 seconds, has fallen apart a bit.
Yeah, and we talked about on Envoy and Jet Li, that SOG duo. This is sort of a map where it's tough for SOGs, right? Guys like Krim who are 6-3 with those ICRs, just a lot of long-range fights. This might actually favor Optic early on, just due to the map choices.
And I really just kind of like the map variety with regards to that. Like, what is strong? Like ICR, Matic, SOG, like you can take over depending on what map breakdown you have in this best of 5, but we'll get focus now back to fences as it looks like the break comes in behind TJ Haley, who gets 2, allows Scump to get in position here in Garage, and he keeps on flying forward. Once again, just early control from Optic as they find all the kills.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job breaking on through her. They really controlled that top balcony, which allowed them to break this setup of Midnight. Now a 50-point lead, and this is where things can get kind of scary. Scump now starting to work towards streaks. He's on a 6 spree at 10-4. This is what we were saying, right? As soon as you don't have Dashy, someone's got to step up. Right now, it's Scump and Krim.
And he's like, guys, I'm on streaks. Somebody set me up, but that is not the gunfight you want to take.
Tough position now. He's set up basically a 1 versus 2, able to win 1, can't get away with his life.
He was, 25 off or something like that when he ends up falling. But Optic Gaming will now eclipse the 100-point mark as Midnight still struggling to find really any kind of time. But they'll be set up at Rock, and they've gotten a nice spread, at least across this top part of the minimap. It's going to be Karma that's trying to break in through water. Can he find an opening? Almost slides and gets 2, but the disruption's not going to matter because look how far back the rest of the Optic Gaming squad is.
Yeah, 3 players go down. Parzilian with that ICR. Nice shots on a Karma. Going to be able to find one. The contest is in, but Jet Li is there. This is a pretty solid hold, but there comes Zuma, able to find 2. Scump with another one. Great break by Optic. As soon as you think Midnight is going to get right back into the game, a great break, and it was led by Zuma, who was able to find 2 kills.
And you think about it, I mean, the 2 kills here prove massive at Rock, and if you think about the Garage, he got the 2 entry kills in rotation, so I know it's nothing that flashy. He's 8-8, but he's found a couple of flurries, which has been
This is all you want. Just get a 1.0, right? This is what I'm saying. Just individually focus on yourself, get the kills, will make the correct plays, rotate. You just do what you have to do on the map. Feel comfortable. A great first set of rotation hills by Optic.
Well, we're getting close to the point where the game really starts to get interesting when these specialist weapons start to come into play. Both teams getting close. You can see Envoy very close to Battery. On the other end, Crim6 about to pick up that Annihilator. Who's going to step up and make the game-changing play? That's one thing to focus on with Crim6 too, because typically that Annihilator, that one-hit gun, that's in Dashy's hands.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Midnight doing a good job getting some control. Optic able to break on in. Just Envoy just trying to stay alive. Top wall, able to find one on a Karma. Brack with another one. He's able to get that War Machine, but just back and forth, right? This is what we talked about with this first hill.
Optic trying to push the lead back out after Midnight made a run. Everybody really excited. I know there's a lot of Optic fans out there excited to see what they're going to do, but I think the biggest question mark is Midnight. Like, what are we going to see from this Midnight team? What performance are we going to get out of these young guys?
It's a big set of kills right now, and you talked about Krim with that Annihilator. The rotation was coming in through Garage. Karma did a wonderful job in the spawn towards that back statue, but now he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. That number 7, he's able to find one, but he's going to get traded out, and you can see the purple arrows are going to spawn up. Jet Li with the grab slam, able to find one. And this is Midnight's opportunity to break on into the game. 40 seconds here will only put them down by 20. Lamagad trying to lock down the lobby. Parzilian with that ICR. A great break, and it all started with them fighting for those back spawns, able to take care of Karma. Karma right now 8-17. You know, I've heard a lot of great things about his performances online, but that was with Dashy, right? How are things changing around? Maybe Damon is in a tough spot where he's making some different plays.
You never know with the trickle-down effect, like who it hurts more. Like if you have a change like that, like who does it really affect? And that's tough to tell sometimes. I mean, that's more like the inner workings of the squad as they try to figure things out with Zuma. But Midnight just will not go away. They keep staying in this game. And it's like they're one good specialist play away from taking a lead. Like one good play, and they're back in it. But now, you've got 55 seconds on this hard point. Midnight's inside, Trophy out. Brack doing pressure at the front. He's had a monster game at 21-14 as well. Can they hold this early flood, though, from Optic Gaming?
Yeah, there we go. Zuma, Karma, everybody's doing their one-on-ones. Envoy with the War Machine trying to find anything he can. Only connects with one. Now it's TJ's turn. He's able to find one in the shed. And this is the second time where we've rotated defenses where Optic, it didn't look like they had control early on, and they've just been able to break the Midnight setup. This is a couple of times where Midnight's probably need to watch his back and say, this was our opportunity to break on in the game and maybe get that lead. Scump now able to find 2 with that slide punch, able to connect onto him, and now it's Karma's turn. Now he's on a force free, starting to turn things around.
You know how tough those battles are. Just people sliding in your face. You see Scump and Karma making the play. Karma, right after you kind of called him out and struggling early, he started to go off, right? 4 kills in a row. He's now got 13 on the board. He's 320 off streak. Still, he needs to reload his ICR, though, because it's giving me anxiety.
Yeah, 9 bullets. That's all he needs.
Oh, he's got a Maddox, so he's all right. He's all right.
So now, Midnight, they have early rock control, and once again, they're very far pushed out. But Optic can then push that garage side. Here's Zuma. Barzilian with that Annihilator, able to find a couple. Can't find any more. And as you said, I mean, Midnight just will not go away. As soon as it seems like it's 50 or 60 points for Optic, Midnight do a great job rotating. Karma trying to slide on in, not able to find anything.
Just keep it close and then try to clutch down the stretch. They've done a much better job this time holding on. You know, Optic behind the 2-piece from Zuma last time got them into rock. This time, it's all but a perfect hold from Midnight. Now a chance to take a lead in this game. You've got a lightning strike on Brazilian as well. The ICR hipfire is working. Now he's fully streaked out. And in a couple of ticks, there it is. Midnight now out in front. Their first lead since the opening 15 seconds of the game.
And you have those streaks as well. Envoy trying to earn some, and he's got a full set of streaks. This is scary Lordy. Now.
Oh, Lordy.
And we haven't touched on it too much. You called it, but Brack, we haven't watched his point of view much, but he is 28 and 18.
Yeah, since the get-go. He's
having
really
a wonderful game, but Zuma get to take down Envoy right there. Brack, yeah, as you said, that's his 30th. He's on 6 in a row. Man, if they get 3 sets of streaks, this is going to be so tough for Optic to get back into this one.
Streaks across the board for Midnight. Optic Gaming going to have to battle back in the final moments of this map 1. Let's get to an Astro Gaming listen in with Optic Gaming.
Nice one. Same streaks, more streaks.
We're good.
2-0.
Top open.
Boy, watch that hill.
Nice.
Last guy top open.
Dead. Last guy top open. They're going.
Go rotate. Get towards Lambo.
Go Lambo.
Good hill.
I have vision.
They're going to have ground pound.
Go done. Nice shot.
I got a trophy down.
Get in water. Drone's here.
Hellstorm. Get inside.
Oh, deep water.
Yo, I've crashed.
Deep water, Brazilian and spawn here.
We're good. Water.
One shot, nice.
Let's go, boys.
Water. I think there's another water.
Yeah, water. Deep water. Brazilian.
Keep on side.
Drones are killing me.
Keep on side.
I
gotta watch front.
We can water.
Damon, you gotta kill
him. Spawn connector. This one's
dead.
I'm visioning. One could have spawned the back, 100%.
Lightning.
Lightning killed us.
What?
3 at hill.
Wait, play live, Tommy.
One shot.
Grapple into the back.
One shot.
Oh, black.
One shot. I got stun.
I'm looking at hill. Drone's
Spawn
coming.
connector.
Back left.
Front.
Dead.
Watch out behind Lambo. 3 Lambo.
Yeah, both behind Lambo.
I'm gonna get Annihilator again. Nice. Good job. Maybe in the back. In the back.
Optic are still alive, and you only have a couple of streaks left. So considering everything that was invested from Midnight, Optic still somehow in this game.
Yeah, and one thing that's been so well for Optic Gaming has been this Fences Hill. Crims, I don't know what that red dot was, but that was weird. But here we go. TJ trying to attack through this well side. Crim already inside that shed, just trying to stay alive, trying to buy time. Midnight gonna get on the hill. They just need 19 more seconds. TJ trying to find a kill, but Izuma is able to find one. TJ trying to stay alive, but you talked about the streaks. The lightning comes in. This could be a great opportunity for Midnight, and Hellstorm as well. He should be able to get 2, maybe 3. He's just hovering it right now, and there it is.
Oh, that's likely the dagger. Nobody from Optic in range, and it's Midnight that get on the board first as they stun Optic. Map 1.
And at the end of it, it just came down to the slaying. You have,
especially the streaks down the stretch.
An Envoy plus 10, Barzilian around that as well. Brack, who had such a great game, he was around plus 10.
And I know we have the factor of Zuma coming as a sub, but one thing I don't think the desk touched on much, and you can probably speak to it from your pro career, but the game can be different online versus LAN. It absolutely can. And this is a team in Midnight. I know it's been a couple weeks, but they had a full week with 6 series on LAN at the Pro League qualifier. Optic haven't been on LAN since Vegas.
So they were probably scrimming, right? They had a ton of series.
Yeah, exactly. So like that has to matter, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I think, as you said, it's definitely a different game, right? It may take some time, for these guys to adjust, just being on that stage again. I mean, they're veterans, but yeah, like you said, just
Well, it's just something, maybe it doesn't affect you long term, but like maybe the first couple maps, and they get stun map 1. So incredible performance from Midnight. They go off. 3 players get streaks down the stretch, and you saw how crucial they were. They're setting up for Garage. You saw 3 from the Lightning, then 3 the Hellstorm late. But let's take a look at social media, guys. We asked you online, the hashtag CWLPS4 on Twitter, what to expect with really Zuma coming in on this Optic roster. Is from Dave's Table. I think a sub in both of our channels, buddy. It won't be that much of an issue. Zuma's a seasoned pro and will fill in just fine under the knowledge of Krim and Teep. He may. So far a struggle, but yeah, you can't put it all on him.
Yeah.
Hunter MLG, I don't think they will struggle. It will definitely be more difficult for them. But Dashy is not someone you can easily replace, and that is, yeah, that is very, very true.
Everybody you talk to, right? I mean, we know what Dashy could do. We saw it at Vegas. One of the best players in the world.
And the final one, Zuma is such a talented player. He'll fit perfectly with the squad. Maybe some jitters, but after that, he's going to take off. And yeah, maybe it's just first game jitters, and he'll be good to go. But the fit perfectly is the part I guess I kind of have an issue with, just because of the role thing. It isn't a puzzle piece that he plugs in perfectly to this Optic puzzle. That's just not how it works. He's a different slot on the roster.
Yeah, and that's what I was sort of worried about was hard point, right? If they drop a hard point, this kind of...
Well, because you were worried about 2 and 3, so hard point makes it even scary once you drop it.
As soon as you drop a hard point, things, they see it tough. They have that teamwork. Again, I think there was just some players who struggled at specific times. Even Zuma, I mean, at one point he was even, and then he went to about 13 and 20, started to tail off, brought it back, but there was just slaying power on the side of Midnight.
It's just like... Yeah, Midnight just took over the game. I mean, once they took the lead finally, think about it. They didn't have the lead. They were up 12-0 or something to start, and then it's 170 to 170 or something where they cracked the lead. But you know, over the course of the game, I think 3 times I mentioned like they're doing just enough to stay in the game. They stayed in striking distance. They never went down more than like 30 to 50, and that is one big specialist play, one big streak away from taking over. And well, they got more than one big play. They went off.
Yeah, and I think if you want to look at one specific play for me from Optic side, I think when Scump was close to streaks, if he doesn't go around the back, right, he's 135 off, is just on the hill, just plays for those streaks because we know how strong they could be. We just saw it. Remember, at that point, they were up about 60, 70 points. They won 2 hills in a row. They won garage and fences.
I think what happened, both his teammates dropped in front of him, and he just thought he maybe had to make a play.
Yeah, if he gets streaked there, the game's probably different.
Who knows? Yeah, certainly could be. They can bail you out. But, I mean, even on the streak stuff, I mean, we've seen some questionable use. A lot at the Pro League qualifier, a lot at Vegas. Like, at least what we saw there, like, they got a lot out of them, at least in the final moments of that game.
You even saw, I believe it was Parzilian, and when we were in that listening, he was just staying alive water, and he was hovering the drone squad just right outside the garage window, right? Like, he wasn't challenging. He was just like, I'm going to put my drone squad here.
Yeah, fight that. Have fun.
Exactly. And that's when you saw that lightning come on in.
So now Optic, they've got to think things through and see how they answer back in search. I think what I'm most excited for, though, is likely the control. I believe Optic went something like 7-1 at Vegas, and I think it was 6-0 for the Midnight side, so that could be a big battle. Search, it'll be interesting because on one side of it, you know, you still have your standout players in Search and Destroy, but the guy that really shined for Optic Vegas was Dashy. I mean, TJ was good too, but Dashy was number 1 across. He had what, like a 2.17, 2.2, somewhere in that ballpark in Search?
I think what he does, right?
How do you replace that?
He opens up lanes with snipers, right? It's not like he's going in; he's finding first bloods. Who are you going to snipe if you're Optic? Maybe it's Karma who picks it up. We've seen him snipe in the past, but that's another weapon in a different game mode that Dashy brought.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally the best Search player, at least statistically, at Vegas. And that's just gone. That's got to be tough to replace. And I believe on the other side, who was it? I was talking to JP earlier about who kind of the standout was at Search and Destroy.
It was Envoy, yeah.
Was it Envoy? That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, it was Envoy. And what did he end up doing? He posted a 1.63 search at the Pro League qualifier. So, and if you take a look at their events, it was actually OG with the highest overall KD at Vegas in search, and Midnight was the highest at the Pro League qualifier. So both teams have been solid in search. One, unfortunately, missing their superstar.
Yeah, Midnight now on that attack. Well, Karma not sniping, but is able to find that first blood. But a very spread out attack from Midnight. You have a couple of players B, but the other two just spreading out. Scump able to find another one. Krim's, it's some really bad timing. The player is planning right behind him.
He's like, oh.
He's going to turn now. But yeah, that is a tough spot now. Do you challenge? He's going to go for it. He has no help right now. Nobody there to help Krim. He's all alone and Jet Li able to find 2. Now this is a 3 versus 3. Krim, though, still up, just trying to find this player. Jet Li has found his 3rd of the round, Envoy with another one. Just trying now is a 1 versus 2. Scump all alone.
And this is not easy. He's got to try and fly through this doorway and find the kill. Jet Li's going to back up. He's going to wrap all the way back through. And they're just not giving Scump anything. You got to love the way they play that. Now there's only 10 seconds remaining. He just has to check. Knows he isn't on it. Round sealed for Midnight.
That is so unfortunate.
And that's like, yeah, if Krim, you look right instead of left, and that goes a whole lot differently. And he just had to be like, when that got played out, I know Krim was probably like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a weird round for Midnight. They literally spread the map. Karma and Scump both get kills towards the middle, so they don't have any
the big
pressure.
two-piece.
Yeah, Jet Li just
and that
on those couple of players.
And they're both looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
Like both of them looking out kind of towards the first hard point there in Courtyard. And that's just too easy. Oh, then he actually I didn't realize he actually got the third right after it. Wow. Well, that's the play. That's very much the play of the game. Play of the game feature doesn't always get it right. That time it absolutely did. Well, Midnight strike first. Now can Optic answer back on offense, and you can see the defense heavy stack from Midnight towards the A side. B wide open right now for Optic.
Yep, now they have all the information. They're set to rotate on over. You have Parzilian and Brack starting to work towards that backside. Llama up top. Bomb being planted for Optic. We're going to have a 5 versus 5. The key player for Optic right now is going to be Karma, right? You see that number 8 just trying to lock down the flank. Make sure no one pushes through their lobby. You have Krim in the water. Karma, he's going to get taken down. Jet Li able to find another one. Parzilian is going to take down Krim. Now a 3 versus 5 for Midnight.
And they are just tearing through Optic. Nobody has dropped, not a single trade for Optic. Zuma last up. He gets cut down. And the slate just wiped clean. Midnight, what a retake there. Like, it doesn't get easier than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? In these sort of 5-on-5 situations where Midnight has gone through it 100 times, for Optic, you're inserting a new piece. It's a different system.
And I know we're talking about the Zuma thing a lot because it's a big deal, and it's not like he got here. They got here last week and they've been working together. They started playing today, so it's just it is tough. It is tough, and that's not to knock Midnight coming in here and surprising Optic. They are playing incredible, but it's just interesting kind of seeing Optic trying to figure things out, just kind of working from scratch in a way when you got a new person slotted into the roster.
Well, once again, it was Jet Li and Envoy with those Sogs. That Sog duo working together to find that first blood onto Karma. That really opened things up for them.
Envoy's 4-0. We talked about his search and destroy prowess. Well, can he pick up, and he streaks behind it, but it's a first blood in from Parzilian, and they'll take the advantage, Joe.
Yeah, but you have Llama. Yeah, as I say, he has 2 on him on the flanks. He'll be able to bring it back. 4 versus 4. Bomb planted. Now what does Opt to do? It looks like they're going to try and regroup, maybe go through that connector. Envoy trying to find one as he's going to go back towards his lobby. Yep, great timing on the Scump. That's a free kill, 4v2. And once again, you're getting another example of these sort of retake situations where you can just see Midnight has the clear advantage on what exactly they want to do. But Krim and Karma, 18 seconds to work with. Just don't know if there's enough time. They have to run into that trap. Now it's Karma all alone.
The only silver lining maybe for Optic there is you kill Envoy, who's about, I think it was 125 off streaks, so you at least make sure no streaks come in. But outside of that, it has been all Midnight. It's interesting because we talk all the time, you know, in 4v4 about, you know, if one person was out, you sub somebody in, like it, I don't know, you can kind of, do you think it's, I guess I'm trying to say, do you think it's like harder in 5v5 or easier? Like, you think from a percentage standpoint, it's like less of your team.
Well, based off what we've seen, right, any team that's had role issues, they've struggled, right? Any team that just can't figure it out, they have struggled big time in 5 versus 5. But I just think whenever you replace someone, I don't think that's correct. I mean, whenever you replace someone, it's tough. It just is what it is.
3v3 now. Ton of time remaining on the clock. Nice one-on-one win there from Brack. Well, he actually trades it after TJ did find a kill.
Parzilian takes him down. Only a lightning, though, and a big round for Optic.
Yeah, well, you get one on the board. Yep. You need to get a victory, start kind of climbing back into this. But yeah, the team kill and the kind of the whiffs there with the Mozu on Brazilian's behalf lead to something working now.
Were you saying like they have to play a certain way because Parzilian?
Oh, well, I was talking to Envoy before before Hot Mic, and I said, like, I can't remember if it was you or name, but someone kind of compared them to United Infinite Warfare. Like, this team sort of came out of nowhere. Yeah. They were really scrappy, flying around. And he was like, well, we actually, because of our main AR, we actually play a lot slower than people realize. I guess I was a little bit surprised to hear he's breaking down. But he also said at times in hardpoint, they do start just bashing their head into hardpoints. He's like, yeah, sometimes we play like an AM team still.
Well, I mean, you can see right off the start, Envoy and Jet Li just go right down the middle. Like, you can see the positioning of Jet Li. They just take mid-control, but Optic is able to find that first blood. Jet Li, though, has been the key playmaker. He's going to take it down. This is looking like a very clean round for Optic. 2 versus 5. Barzillion and Lamia trying to find anything. They are able to find one. They're bringing on back, but that looks like it's going to be it as Scump wins the one-on-one.
Now they string a couple rounds together, get the fist bumps out, and maybe things start to click a little bit. You have to think. I mean, Midnight, I think we're definitely going to see them improve a ton over the course of the Pro League, just with the amount of pro teams they're going to be playing. But if you think just maybe isolated within this series, the team that might start to click and improve is actually maybe Optic, just because, you know, they're kind of figuring things out with Zuma as they go. You might just see them start to feel a little bit better about it as we get deeper into this best of 5.
It's going to be really weird, right? So you're going to have 4 matches this week, and then if Dashy does come back next week, he's like, oh, we were finally comfortable with Zuma, and Dashy's back.
Yeah, I think regardless of the outcome, they're going to be pretty thankful to get him back on the squad. That's for sure.
Let's jump once again. 7 and 4. Zuma not able to find a kill just yet. As you said, Optic find a couple of rounds. Lamia throws a stun out so they know where Optic is. Look at Optic's position in those top halls. Now, where are they going to choose? Where are they going to go towards? A or B? It looks like that B side is open. You have one player working the back. Jet Li able to find one. Zuma and him. Zuma able to find the trade. But Brack is there. Now a 3 versus 4. Bomb is being planted.
Can they get the retake? Brack wants to get involved. Has the lightning to work with. TJ of Optic just holding mid.
It's a huge round for Optic if they can bring this one back. And TJ not able to spot that player. Scump trying to work one top halls. But he waits for TJ, able to find one. Now a 2 versus 3 ball, but Barzillion finds Krim. That was a huge kill from Barzillion. If TJ was just able to stay alive and win another one, maybe they have a chance. Not going to do it. Crash was popped as well.
Yeah, so he gets a couple shots in, but at that range with the SOG and the TAC 5 boost in, I don't even think he hit his actual HP. And that's a big one for Midnight then. You know, a couple rounds in a row there for Optic. Midnight now answer back, and we'll see the big kill on the other side.
Well, because TJ gets a kill, has the help of Scump, and those players are focused on TJ. They have to get him out of that table.
Krim wins that 1v1.
Right, it's way different, right? There's only 18 seconds left in a 2 versus 2.
And I don't know what Krim had on his class, but you can see the thermal massive advantage there in water.
Yeah, Barzillion's like, thank you.
Yeah. 2-round advantage once again for Midnight. They've got a bit of a split here. 2 players were headed towards A. Envoy gets some information. They're not going to push it. You have Zuma here. Can Zuma get another kill on the board? They're just dancing with it, but Scump is there with the help from mid-connector. Envoy next up. He's going to find an opening. And Zuma's going to get picked as well. So what was the first blood for Optic Gaming now? Well, it evaporated for a moment. Thankfully, Krim able to tack it on, though, and make it a 3v3.
I mean, it's just Jet Li and Envoy, right? On their offensive rounds, they just find openings through the middle of the map. Like, he gets behind them, finds a kill, and that sort of changes the round. And now he spots 2 in connector. This is going to be such a huge play. That's going to be one. Can he find the second on the Karma? Nobody has the help of Brack. Now a 1 versus 3 for Krim, and that's going to be the 5th round on the board for Midnight.
Envoy 7 and 3. He was the standout in the Pro League qualifier and search. And it's just sometimes, like, I don't know, you feel like early in titles, just sometimes people, if you're an aggressive player, sometimes people understand the timing's a little better. You find those holes, you find those gaps, and you could really punish people early in a game. And it just seems like he's getting into spots that Optic just is not ready for.
Well, what? They got the first blood on the Jet Li, I think, and that's sort
and then next thing you know, Envoy's right behind the rock.
Exactly. It's really just him and Jet Li just finding those openings. And as long as
this map's tough. I mean, it feels like a 9-lane map.
Yeah. Optic starting to work the middle. Barzillion's going to back on down. Jet Li with one with that grab slam. Brack as well. And now a 3 versus 4.
You have man advantage of your Midnight. Can they close it out here and take a 2-0 advantage? Annihilator now popped. Zuma about to meet his maker if he tries to go top steps.
Look at Karma's going all the way around number 8. He found an opening. This should be a huge play on for Zealand. Able to find one now at 3v3. We talked about those openings for Midnight. Karma able to find one. Can he win this gunfight on a Jet Li? No, he gets taken down.
So now it's on Zuma and Krim to clutch. Zuma's 1-6 because
he's
how you see the streaks. Now Zuma.
He's 9-2. I haven't even noticed. Brack is a sneaky assassin.
Yes, we've been focusing on Envoy's openings, but yeah, game 1 and 2 just filthy from Brack. But now with the Annihilator popped and 5 in the chamber, Crimsix has to clutch this 1v2. 25 seconds. Here we go.
He doesn't have bomb as well.
Yep. He's just got to go. He hears the drone squad lighting in, so they're going to be aware of his position.
Okay, so he's still alive. 12 seconds left. That's going to be a kill. He still has time to get to a bomb as well.
Not able to do it. Midnight. Now up 2-0, Joe. Now up 2-0, and what a huge first series this would be to the newcomers to the Pro League. Come in against the Titans, and you come out swinging. Brack has been a beast. He led the way in the hard point.
Yeah, 30 plus.
And now in the search going off, him and Envoy combined for a massive game. Brack has been sensational. Midnight looking dominant. In control. It's Control up next. and welcome back. Perhaps not the scoreline you may have expected, but Midnight have come to play. They went 6-0 in the Pro League qualifier, and now here they are with a 2-0 advantage over your Vegas champions. Midnight looking great. Envoy's been great. Brack has been stellar.
It feels like Brack really, what it seems is his goal has been really to play for those streaks, because those streaks that he's gotten has changed the game in both the hardpoint and the search and destroy. Really in that hardpoint, he gets those streaks. Envoy gets streaks as well. That changed everything for Optic.
If anyone wondered if maybe this Midnight team, kind of amateurs, first time coming to the Pro League, would be intimidated at all by the Optic Gaming side, the resounding answer is no.
Well, we always talk about, on the desk and how just veterans are sort of used to this. And at times they get lazy. They don't bring the energy to the stage. Midnight is like, let's go. Like, I want to be here and play every single match every day. This is still a new experience for them, and that could change things, the intensity that they're bringing in the match.
And just to set this stage for the control once again, Midnight were a perfect 6-0 at the Pro League qualifier. Optic Gaming were 7-1 at Vegas. And I know stats for Optic, you can take them for what they're worth considering they're playing with their sub right now, but still, two good control teams fighting it out.
Yeah, good start for Midnight, only dropping one life off the break. Optic starting to work towards this B side. Envoy with a nice play, able to find two snaps on a Crim as well.
He beams Crim there. He is feeling it.
But you already have a 6-kill advantage, and Barzilian able to win that 1 versus Crim.
Brack,
30 seconds left.
Takes the one-on-one.
Optic's got to go. They haven't contested at all. They haven't stopped the clock.
They've got absolutely no progress at all. It's just been a purple wall shutting down Optic. Scump trying to do what he can inside events, tags up one, but Envoy able to get away and heal up. The kill feed still all purple. There's only 10 seconds remaining. Optic has to get in. The last man here is going to be Zuma. He's going to drop, and Optic get absolutely zero progress in their first offensive round.
Well, we always talk about sort of how the clock is against you. It's especially against you if you're not on the point at all.
We see some dominant control rounds, but typically they're once like the streaks come into play or the specialists come into play. That might be one of the more convincing round ones of defense I've seen. Like they didn't even touch the objective. They just got smoked.
They didn't stop the clock. Ever since the break, it was a 6-kill advantage for Midnight.
It does not get cleaner than that. Wow. Set up early map control by winning your opening gunfights and then lock it down. Wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, this is with the sub. This is just such a tough game mode, right? When you talk about control, just the ability to retake.
Look at. They had 4 deaths.
Yeah, they only lost 4.
Dude, you don't usually see that unless it's streak specialist weapons in. Like, that's as close as you're going to get to perfect in a round 1 of a control.
And here we go. Midnight already